Mr. President, what if I came to the floor today and said I've got a new law that I want to introduce? And here's what it says. If you stop a motorist across America, anywhere across America for speeding, reckless driving, driving under the influence, you can not only arrest that motorist, you can arrest the child in the back seat. You can tell that child in the back seat, maybe 2 years old or 5 years old, you have to pay a price because your parent broke the law. People would laugh me out of the Senate chamber. That isn't right. It isn't the way we handle justice in America. You don't impose a penalty on children because of the wrongdoing of their parents. And here's what we said. If you came to the United States as a child, under the age of 16, as a child, if you finished high school, and if you had no problems, no significant criminal record, we'll give you 2 chances to become a legal person in America. First chance, enlist in our military. If you are willing to risk your life for this country, you deserve a chance to be a citizen. Secondly, finish at least 2 years of college. Not a lot of kids do that. But if you'll finish 2 years of college, we'll give you a chance to be legal. We called it the DREAM Act. And for 10 years, I've been standing on the Senate floor trying to pass the DREAM Act. Time and again, we've had a majority vote here. The last time, I think there were 55, if not 53 senators. But because it's controversial, someone objected, and we needed 60 votes, and we failed. We are a nation of immigrants. We are a diverse nation, and it is in that diversity we find our strength. We come from so many different corners of the world, and we come to America to call it home. These children are in that same position. And when I see the argument being made in Arizona and Alabama, the anti-immigrant argument being made, I'm thinking to myself, they're ignoring the reality. And the reality is the diversity of our nation is its strength. The fact that we come from so many different places, drawn and driven to this great country for the opportunity that it offers. The Arizona law that was passed last year requires police officers to check the immigration status of any individual they have, quote, reasonable suspicion that may be undocumented. Under this law, any undocumented immigrant can be arrested and charged with a state crime solely on the basis of their immigration status, if they did nothing wrong. And it's a crime for a legal immigrant to fail to carry documents proving their legal status at all times in the state of Arizona. It doesn't sound right to me in this nation of immigrants. Last year it was Arizona, this year it's Alabama. Alabama Governor Robert Bentley signed HB 56. Alabama's immigration law requires police officers to check immigration status of any individual they suspect is undocumented. Any undocumented immigrant can be arrested and charged with a state crime. Legal immigrants must carry documents proving their legal status at all times. Mr. President, it's wrong to criminalize people based solely on their immigration status. That is not the way we treat immigrants in our country, and that's not the way our criminal justice system should work. It's not right to make criminals of people who just go to work each day, cook our food, clean our hotel rooms, and care for our children and parents. It's not right to make criminals of those who worship with us in our churches, synagogues, and mosques, and send their children to school with our own kids. I think about this, and I think about what a blind eye some of the backers of these laws must have when they walk into a restaurant in a major city and don't look up and notice who's cooking, who's cleaning the dishes, who's taking care of their parents at the nursing homes, who just cut the grass at the golf course. Many of these people are undocumented. We know it, but we're not calling for them to leave. They're serving us, right? No. With these laws, we're just condemning those in similar status. Here's the reality. Criminalizing immigrants will not help combat illegal immigration. Law enforcement doesn't have the time or resources to become the immigration office of America. That's why the Arizona Association of Chiefs of Police opposes the Arizona law. It makes it more difficult for them to keep people safe. Not easier, more difficult. Immigrants will be much less likely to cooperate with police who could arrest them on the spot. Alabama's law goes even further. Most contracts with undocumented immigrants are declared null and void, including, for example, rental agreements and child support agreements. Schools have to check the immigration status of every student and parent and report it to the state. Schools are authorized to report students and parents they believe to be undocumented to the federal government. I'm concerned about the use of our schools in enforcing immigration laws. The Supreme Court's made it clear that it's constitutional to provide elementary education to children and not discriminate based on their immigration status. The Education Department of our federal government has warned states, including Alabama, not to use education as a device to exclude those students who are otherwise eligible to be taught. In 1982, Texas passed a law that allowed elementary schools to refuse entrance to undocumented children. The Supreme Court of the United States of America struck down that law. As a result, millions of children have received an education, and millions have become citizens. They are doctors, soldiers, policemen, lawyers, engineers, and business people who make America a better nation. Imagine what would have happened if the Texas law had been allowed to stand. Incidentally, that's exactly what Alabama wants today. Alabama should know, every state should know, that no state is above the law, no state is above the findings of our Supreme Court. The American people have a right to be frustrated. Congress has repeatedly failed to fix our broken immigration system. The casualties, many are young, dreamers that I've talked about today, and many have been around many years and still live in the shadows and live in fear every single day. Mr. President, we are a better nation than that. We are a nation of immigrants, a nation of justice, and a nation that can find its way to give an opportunity to young people who every day that they've attended school stood up, put their hand over their heart, and pledged allegiance to the only flag they've ever known. They are asking for a chance to be part of the future of America. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to help me pass the DREAM Act.